Hi, this is Kerry here at Kerry Synthetic Lubes. Shop Amsoil.com. I want to continue on with our oil and how I promote that to my consumers. We mentioned how many miles each one of these oils is designed to go, and that's where your value comes in for the consumer. We have been taught over the years and years now, 3,000 miles is the ideal oil change interval. That was just a marketing ploy, believe it or not. You can look it up. I was rather surprised because I was hammered into me, 3,000 miles, by gosh, you better change that oil. It's not a bad marketing ploy, kept the oil clean, it wasn't a bad thing. Today's motors though, as we mentioned in the last video, we can run them further, and these oils are designed to do exactly that. The OE, the manufacturer suggests a 7,000. What happens with, well, I should say a lot of them do, what happens with our Amsoil OE, the suggestion to the consumer is you only have to come here twice a year because most of mine drive 12,000 miles a year. That means we're going to save them an oil change. They're going to like that. May change them 2 oil changes, and you're going to get the value because of what this oil may cost more initially, but they can drive further. The big thing is with each one of these that I'm going to bring out, making sure if they have to stop in at your shop to be checking the oil in between. That's something to really try to hammer home. If you do videos like I do after work or sometime, bring that up occasionally and just flat out ask, hey, are you checking your oil? I will check it for you. Just a suggestion, your customers, I don't. But that's how it is here. The OE again, backed it, 12,000 miles a year is working great. We're having them in spring and fall. I really push the spring because of how harsh the winters can be. I'm sure some of you further north than me, it's much harder. We have a big fluctuation from temperature in the winter. This past week it has been I think it's 20 degrees as cold as it's been. It was above 50 the other day. Now I'm sitting here looking at snow. It's in the 20s again. And next it's going to warm up and then back and forth. You get the point. That's so hard on a car, the motor and everything. That's why I push the synthetics too. But the value is get them out of there, get that oil out of there in the spring. They drive more in the summertime. They're going to be ready for an oil change again in the fall. They're again just twice a year. I'm typically seeing them 3 times a year regardless. Moving on up to the XL, my commercial, I mentioned that, how they like it. The extended oil change interval to 12,000. I find they really stick to that. They're aware that they're extending the oil change. They tend to check the oil in between much better than the regular consumer was doing. We haven't really had them coming with it low. That gives them that more time on the road, one less time they have to stop, but still protecting their motor like they should be. The Signature Series, now I hold this mostly, I don't bring that up to my commercial accounts. They need to get in here because of the way, as you've seen, they typically will be abusing their vehicle. Onto the Signature Series, we live literally 90 miles away from major cities. Some of my consumers come here for their service work. That allows them to drive their car further. Again, look it up on the website to make sure what oil you should use. The suggestions are there. They like that because they're driving so far, and they tend to check their cars more often than everybody else simply because they are driving it so often. And that's not a steadfast rule, but they tend to. That Signature Series works quite well for them because they might be driving 180 miles a day, 5 days a week. That adds up very quick. We get to look at the car. Some still like to go with the XL. But make sure you're looking these oils up and see what is suggested by Amsoil. If you have a question, you have a tech line to call. If you've signed up as a retailer, commercial account, or a preferred customer or dealer. You have that to call in. Again, the value is on the oil and how long you can extend it. And the price comes out about the same. Want to make sure you're aware of the European grade oil. I was not aware of that. We have a lot of foreign cars, but they tend not to be European like Audis and cars like that. Overall, that value is there. One thing that I'm going to let you in on though, what's surprising how many guys are concerned about their oil changes dropping off. Mine didn't. I watched it. I was a little concerned, but I make a little bit more money every oil change. Of course, that's why we're doing it. The oil changes stay the same. Yes, you have a higher initial investment, but you're making more oil, more money per oil change. So that kind of goes away along with it. The other thing that you have that don't forget about, these people coming to you because you've built a relationship with them. They trust you. It's not like you're taking advantage of it, but they wouldn't come there if they didn't already know who you were and believe what you're telling them. So that's one other way. I bring that all out to the consumer, and I usually get whatever you think's best for my car, and it is. We'll move on here to the next video. I'll give you a few numbers on percentages on how things have worked for us here at our shop, why you see all this Amsoil behind me. Thanks for being with me, and I'll be right back with you here in just a minute.